guess I should own a little bit of my own genealogy, I guess personal history, and then I grew up and came out in Trinidad and Tobago, and then lived in the US for almost 20 years, and was part of some of the seminal work that happened in Black gay organizing there beginning in the middle 80s. I ended up becoming a visa overstay, a quote-unquote illegal immigrant. And right now, I am a legal US resident, but I've been doing this organizing work in Trinidad and Tobago for the past 4 years. And so, I've been the person in the diaspora. I've also been the international organization because I served on the board and actually co-chaired the board of the International Gay and Lesbian Human Rights Commission, IGLHRC, for a short period. I came on the board with a particular vision, being very clear about it. We entered the strategic planning process. I lost, and very gracefully I left the board. But the struggle for me was about how do we shift the work that groups like IGLHRC do that had been then, and there have been many changes in the organization since, but then was centered on this notion of victimhood, this notion of human rights work, particularly when it targets the Global South. It's about action alerts and asylum. It's about horror. And how do we shift it to a frame of recognizing that organizing is happening there, and how do we channel our efforts and our relationships around, one, respecting, and two, helping build or capacitate that organizing? How do we frame international solidarity work fundamentally around the leadership of people it's going to benefit? And my relationship with Andil was built in part around a piece that I wrote for journalist Hugh that he edited, where I talked about my own involvement in anti-dancehall music protests over a period of about 15 years, beginning with the original GLAD protest to Boom Bye Bye in New York, for which my roommate translated the lyrics so that people who didn't speak Jamaican patois could understand the violence that was being sung about. And then Caribbean people lost control of what became a movement dominated by Peter Tatchell. And I think in 2004, there emerged a group in New York calling itself No More Murder Music, that attempted to position diasporic Caribbean folks in the leadership of a different kind of way of protesting the imagination of violence against gay and lesbian people in dancehall music, and centering a certain set of values in that movement around the idea that we wanted to focus on the impact in Jamaica, and not the idea that a homophobic immigrant was coming to your campus or your country and you wanted to close the border. That racism and the ways in which the murder music movement began to depict the Caribbean and Jamaica in particular as barbaric because it was homophobic had no place in that sort of movement.